Hey everyone, and welcome to Find Your Flow. I am Natalie. Today we have yoga to create space. And disclaimer, in my opinion, most yoga is to create space, but this is a full-length practice to send some love to every single space in the body. Stay present, hop on the mat, I'll meet you there. Jumping on in to find a comfortable space on the ground. As always, lift your way onto some sort of support just to send some loving kindness and space to the hips. And of course, that is our theme for today's practice, creating space. So as we sit here, can we sit up a little taller and think of each of the vertebrae in our spine and imagine the space between each single one. And maybe we grow an inch or two, metaphorically. We're just starting to think about this as we close our eyes or soften the gaze. And spread this feeling of space to other parts of our body. Through each of our toes, our fingers. Length through the back of the neck. Growing a little taller through all four sides of the torso. So through the side body and the ribs, you can move your hands there if you like to, if this helps you to imagine growing a little bit more. Through the front body, the back body. Of course, if you find a different position works better for the body today, particularly the lower body, then feel free to do whatever feels good. And then everybody coming to find this sense of stillness as we consciously release any tension from the forehead, the eyebrow bone, the cheeks, and the jaw. Take a swallow in the back of the mouth, perhaps. And then come to breathe. And we spend all of our lives breathing, but now we're going to spend some time breathing with awareness. And this is really simple, but sometimes quite difficult to do. We get drawn away often and distracted. So what we're going to do here is just try to practice listening or feeling one full inhale through the nose and one full exhale out of the nose. And keep doing this. And as we breathe, just notice what happens in the body. Maybe the ribs expand. Can you feel the stomach moving? Do the shoulders lift up a little bit? What happens? Nice, and then on your next inhale, breathing in through the nose and try to find a little bit more space. Maybe you reach a little taller through the spine, maybe you simply soften the shoulders. Whatever you do, just do it and trust it, and then exhaling out of the nose, but keeping this length that you've found. Nice. One more breath here. And gently fluttering the eyes open. Noticing how you feel, checking in with yourself exactly as you are in this moment. Allow that to be as it is. And then floating into some gentle movement. We're going to warm up the body nice and slowly. So taking the right hand down to the ground and reaching the left hand all the way towards the sky. reach even taller, and then fold over to the right side. Your gaze might be down to the ground, out in front, or perhaps we reach it up. But just ease into this, know that we aren't looking to push or strain or reach our edge. Nice. And floating the left hand down, coming onto the other side. Right hand reaches tall, and then we fold. So they're two separate movements. We reach up and then reach over. Nice. And then making your way all the way back to center, sending both arms out wide and crossing the left arm over the top of the right. And really finding this nice crisscross first. And then floating the backs of the hands or the palms up and towards each other. Don't worry if they don't touch. This here is called eagle arms, but really moving away from the name of the pose and simply trying to make the most of this pose for us today and this movement and how it feels for us. Then we lift our elbows a little higher as we keep the shoulders soft from beneath the ears. And I invite you here, if you like, to close the eyes or soften the gaze and check in on your inhale. Feel all of the spaces where we're adding a little bit more room. And on your exhale, keep this space as you breathe out. Nice. One more breath. And exhaling to release, send the arms out wide and cross the right arm over the left. So really nice crisscross first, and then backs of the hands or palms towards each other. Elbows lift, shoulders soften. Breathing with awareness, lengthening through all four sides of the torso. Nice. One more full breath here. Before releasing and rolling the shoulders forwards and back and forwards. Just moving them in a way that feels good, almost pedaling the shoulders here like you're on a bike. Nice. And from here, taking the legs out long, but hugging the right leg up and in and bringing it on top of the left thigh. We're going to come to find our leg baby here, so you may already know this. Bringing the foot into the left hand and hugging our right leg all the way up and in, like we're cradling a little baby. Nice. And then start to cradle your baby from side to side. And we can keep the foot in the hand here, but if we already know we have the space, we might like to bring the foot to the elbow crease here. But if we instantly get this collapse in the ankle, no thank you, we could bring it back down to the hand. So keeping the foot nice and active. We don't want to put any pressure on that ankle joint. And just working into the hip space. Nice. And then everybody release the right foot down to the outside of the left leg. And really hugging that leg in as we send the left arm around the leg and then float the right hand behind us, journeying into a twist. And if this is too much on this side, just bring the right foot to the inside of the left leg. Wherever we are, we're inhaling to reach tall, exhaling to maybe explore a little bit more of a twist, really finding this twist from our center. Nice, one more breath. And then making your way back when you're ready. Right leg long, left leg hugs in. Find your leg baby. Start to cradle it side to side. Really ease into the hip movement. Nice. And then releasing the left foot down, either to the outside or the inside. Listen to your body today. And hugging the right arm around. We're going to twist over to the left side. Left hand floats behind us. Nice. Keeping the right toes flexed and active. One more breath here. Before releasing, floating our way back to center and coming to sit off our block and into a tabletop all fours with the wrists beneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips, taking all of the attention to our rib cage now, imagining we're going to move in like a barrel shape, so floating just the ribs over to the left side. Nice. And then ribs come down towards the ground. We lift our tailbone and gaze, coming into cow pose. Keep pressing actively through the palms, space between the fingers. And taking the ribs over to the right. And then all the way up towards the sky, dropping the tailbone and the gaze, cat pose. Floating one more time over to the left. Moving a little bit more fluidly this time, lifting up into cow. Tailbone and gaze comes towards the sky. Nice, over to the right and then up into cat. And then sending your circle in the opposite direction. Just really feeling into this today. It doesn't have to be so robotic, just make it feel good for you. If you want to stay in one space a little bit longer, then do so. Really use the breath to help create that space. And when you've gone 2 times one way, 2 times the other way, jumping all the way back to center, we'll meet in a neutral spine. But take your time to arrive there. There's absolutely no rush. Everybody from our tabletop will tuck our toes under and really pressing through the palms. So notice how we aren't collapsing into the shoulder space, but pressing into the earth to help us lift up and out. And then keeping this lift as we hover the knees off the mat. Whoa, creating a fire, waking up the deep abdominal muscles in the belly. Nice, keeping this lovely long spine, nice long back body. Imagine we're at a tea party and we're balancing a tray of tea on our backs. One more breath here before releasing the knees down. If this is too much on the wrists, you can bring the hands to fists and work from here, finding one breath on the ground and then hovering the knees off and breathe. Don't forget to breathe. Lovely long neck. Finding this activation all throughout the body, not just the center, but also through the lower body and the legs. And then releasing, nice. One more time. Moving with the breath. Hover the knees off. And we have the option here to stay with the knees hovering or lengthen the right leg back. And then the left leg coming into a high plank. So keep pressing through the palms, fingers spread nice and wide, breathing in, breathing out. One more breath here. Woo. Everybody releasing, tucking the toes, sitting back on the heels, and releasing the forehead down towards the ground. Coming to a child's pose here, but with tucked toes, still just sending some love and space to the feet. While giving our arms and wrists a nice break. Nice. And everybody reaching the arms forwards will press into the palms. And really lengthen through the spine, but let the length travel up with us as we send the hips high, downward facing dog. It's your first down dog of our practice, so just move here in a way that feels good. Bend the knees, pedal through the heels, wiggle the hips maybe. Nice. One more breath before walking the feet forwards towards the hands, coming into a fold, Uttanasana. Head and neck hanging nice and soft. Keep this bend in the knees, whether it's a small bend or a really generous bend. But remember, the more you bend your knees, the more love you send to your lower back and spine and the backs of the legs. So keeping the feet spreading on the mat, we inhale to lift up halfway. Exhale to fold. And from our fold, we'll cross the right leg behind the left. Option here to lift up onto some support if we want to underneath the hands, or stay in our fold, fingertips or palms on the earth. Keeping the softness in the knees. One more breath. And then stepping the right leg out, crossing the left leg behind now. Nice. Really release the head. Take any tension away from this space. Lovely. Stepping the left leg out, plant through the palms, both feet come back. We lift the hips, downward facing dog. And from our down dog, rolling our weight forwards, but curling our spine as we do this to an angry cat pose. Really arching as we roll, shift the weight, shoulders over the wrists, coming into our plank pose. We can keep the knees lifted or lower than down here. Find one more breath. And then send the elbows behind you as you lower down with control to the earth. Taking the feet nice and wide. Hands come off our mat now. We tent the palms, so we're lifting onto our fingertips. And taking a breath in. And as we breathe out, we'll lift our heart forward. Find extension as we rise in the spine. Finding a cobra variation. Nice. Making your way down 2 more times, lifting on your exhale. So feel the stomach hit the ground as we breathe in. And then deflate as we lift up and breathe out. Nice. One more time. This time staying here in your cobra. We're sure we aren't muscling into this using the arms, really finding that strength from our back body. Don't worry if you aren't lifted as high as I am, it really doesn't matter. Just keeping the feet planted. Maybe we gaze over to the right and over to the left, and then making your way back down, planting the palms, lifting your way back up to sit in a child's pose, balasana. Taking the knees wide or close together. Forehead down towards the ground. Take what support you need as we rest here. Nice. And then from your balasana, pressing through the palms, we lift up. Take the knees back to parallel, make our way into tabletop. Sending the left leg behind us, reaching away. And then stepping it all the way forwards, coming into a low lunge. With our hands either side of our front foot. So this is where we can lift onto 2 bricks or our at-home props, whatever we have. As we start to send our left toes and flex them towards our face and rock the hips back, keeping the hips roughly over the back knee space though. As we crawl forwards and back, keep this soft, keep the bend in the knee. Nice, and take your movement here, rather than forwards and back, to a little bit side to side, almost like we're circling forwards and back. In both directions. Nice. And then rocking back into your lunge, floating the right hand down to the ground or onto your support as the left hand comes to the rib cage and spirals over to the left side and then reaches all the way up into a twist. Keeping that front knee over the front ankle, toes soft. Taking one breath in. And as you breathe out, releasing and stepping the left leg back into tabletop. Nice. Just circle the hips around one way and the other way. Come to take a cat pose, curling the tailbone down, arching through the spine, angry cat. And then lift your way all the way up, cow pose. Nice, find length. Floating back, neutral spine, and sending the right leg behind us. Stepping it all the way forwards, framing the front foot With the hands, lift onto whatever you need to here to keep this lovely, lovely long spine that we are obsessed with, if you didn't already know. And flexing the right toes towards the face, we're rocking back, we're rocking forwards. Nice. And start to make this forwards and back more like a left, right, forwards, back, circling. One direction and then the other. Beautiful. Coming back into your low lunge, planting the left palm down, right hand to the ribs, spiraling them over to the right side, and then reaching the hand all the way up. Nice. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears, finding a little bit more room here. One more breath before releasing and stepping the right leg back into tabletop. And from our tabletop, tucking the toes under, sitting back on the heels, we press through the palms, make our way up, downward facing dog. Send the hips high. Notice how this feels and maybe how it feels different from the first time we came to Adho Mukha Svanasana in our practice. Nice. From here, walking, stepping or hopping the feet forwards into a fold. Inhaling to lift up halfway, flat back. Exhale to fold and release. This time we'll root down to rise all the way towards the sky. Arms reach, floating high. Hands come together down at the heart as we bend our knees, send our sitting bones behind us into chair pose, Utkatasana. Really feel the weight through the feet, spread through the toes. Nice. In your chair, option here to rock the weight forwards into the toes as we come off the heels. Notice how this feels. And then sending the heels down, rocking our weight back, toes lift off. One more time, rocking onto the toes, lifting the heels. Maybe we sit back a little lower. And then coming back onto the heels, off the toes. Nice. One more breath. And then coming all the way back, all four corners of the feet on the ground and folding forwards. Inhale to lift up halfway. Exhale to fold and step the right leg straight back. Right knee on the ground. As we lift our way into our lunge, reach the fingertips all the way towards the sky. Take what padding you need, perhaps underneath the back knee. One full breath here. And then on your next inhale, reach the arms behind as we lift the gaze, lift the heart. And exhale, curl chin towards the chest, rounding. Palms float together in front of us. And then making our way back into our lunge, reach here for one breath. And on your exhale, frame the front foot. This time, tuck the back toes under, lifting the back knee off the ground. Left leg steps back into our plank pose. Knees lifted or lowered here. Keep the weight shifted forwards as we send the elbows back, lower down to the ground. Take our arms nice and wide, tent the palms. Inhale. Exhale, rise into your cobra. Nice. Option to look from left to right here. And then releasing, planting the palms. This time coming straight into your plank pose. And from plank, sending the hips high. Take your time to arrive in your downward facing dog. Beautiful. Meeting in down dog, everyone. Stepping, walking or hopping the feet forwards into Uttanasana. Inhaling, lifting up halfway. Exhaling to fold. Planting the palms either side or the fingertips to the earth as we step the left leg back this time. Bring the left knee to the ground as we rise and lift into our lunge. Nice. Keep the front toes soft, front knee over the front ankle. Keep this length through all four sides of the torso. And on your next inhale, reach the arms behind, rose on the Titanic, lift the heart. Exhale, curling forwards, really finding this exaggeration through the spine as it rounds back. Then lifting your way into your lunge, one breath here, reaching a little bit higher, and then exhale, frame the front foot, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, make your way to your plank pose, knees lifted or lowered, choose your own adventure, listen to your energy today. Weight shifts forward, elbows float back, we lower down to the ground, arms come wide, as we lift our way into our cobra. Nice option to look from side to side. And then releasing, planting the palms, lifting up into your plank pose. An option here to come to downward facing dog or child's pose. Nice. And everybody make your way up to down dog, we'll meet there. Floating the left leg off the ground, three-legged dog. Send away through the heel, keep the pelvis level. And then bending that knee, stepping it all the way forwards, nice and wide. This time, we're keeping the back knee lifted as we rise into a high lunge, but take your time to arrive there. Gather up the support and the energy from the earth, and let that be what helps us lift, finding strength and stability. Lovely. Reaching the arms, finding one full breath. And then taking the hands to the ribs as we pivot the back foot to the ground, ribs spiral over to the right, and the arms reach warrior two. Find a warrior two here that works for you. So keeping our feet nice and wide to send some love and space to our sacrum and lower back area. Just help to get rid of any compression. So sending the fingers out and really keeping them here with a purpose. So we have energy shooting from our fingers. Gaze towards our front hand, sending the front hand forwards, down the leg. Keep reaching all the way up and back. Front knee stays bent over the front ankle. Back hand comes to the back leg. Nice. In your reverse warrior, breathe into the space in the side body. And then releasing, coming back to warrior two before bringing the left forearm to the left thigh, swimming the ribs over to the right side as we reach into side angle pose. The right hand might like to reach up or come over towards the front of your mat. And if we have the space today, we can explore this, sending the left hand down into a brick, block, or the ground. Just know where your practice is. Everybody keeping the heart space radiating upwards. Nice. And pressing down through with the feet to lift back up, warrior two. And crossing the right arm over the left. Bringing the backs of the hands or palms towards each other, just like we did earlier on in our practice in our eagle arm. So lifting the elbows, softening the shoulders. Finding and keeping this strong integrity in the lower body as we reach nice and tall through the spine. Inhaling to lift your gaze, keeping in our eagle arms, send the heart up. Exhale to curl forward, chin towards the chest, round. Nice, coming all the way back to center for one more breath. And then releasing the arms out wide. Warrior two. From your warrior two, pivot on the back foot, coming into a lunge, but straight away framing the front foot as we step our way back into our plank pose. Nice. Keeping this nice tight center, lifting up, navel towards the spine, finding one more breath, shifting our weight forward, and then making our way down to the ground. This time, keeping our hands back by our rib cage as we breathe in. And on your breath out, lift your way into cobra, heart forwards. Releasing all the way down. Pressing into the palms, lift into plank pose, and then send the hips high, downward facing dog, meeting here. Everybody float the right leg off. Doesn't need to be super, super high. Remember, keep the pelvis stable. And then bending that right knee, stepping it forwards into our high lunge, taking the feet a little bit wider though, gathering the energy from the earth as we rise. Reach the fingertips, soften the elbows and the shoulders, keeping that front knee over the front ankle. Beautiful. Finding one more breath here. Before floating the hands to the rib cage, spiraling them over to the left as the left foot pivots to the ground. Nice wide stance, arms reach, energy shoots from the fingertips, warrior two. Keeping our drishti or our gaze on our front fingers as we float them down the front leg. Reach them forwards, up, and all the way back. Nice. And we reach a little bit taller through the right hand before releasing, making our way through warrior two. And then bringing the right forearm to the thigh and rising into your version of side angle pose. Wherever you are today, make it yours. Think about our theme, think about that space. And with every inhale, we really, really lengthen from every single limb, muscle, bone, joint, every part of our body we have. And with every exhale, we soften but keep this space. One more breath here. Before lifting back up, warrior two, nice. And then bringing the left arm on top of the right, finding our Garandasana arms. Backs of the hands or palms towards each other, lifting the elbows, softening the shoulders. And our legs stay in our warrior two with our thighs externally rotating away from one another. There's a lot of stuff going on here, so take it at your own pace. Just remember to breathe. And on your next inhale, lift the heart, lift the gaze. Exhale, curling forward, chin towards the chest. Nice, and making your way back. And releasing the arms, warrior two. Pivoting on the back foot, framing the front foot, and stepping back into your plank pose. Rocking the weight forward, make your way down to your cobra. Remember to keep the hands close towards you this time. Thumbs back by the rib cage as we lift our heart and release. Gorgeous. Make your way into your plank and then either come into downward facing dog or child's pose. Wherever you are, really think about where you are. Think about all of the little movements that are happening now. Think about how the muscles feel. How's the mind feeling? How are your energy levels? How's the breath? Really just take this time to check in and any rest that we come to. Nice. And then everybody make your way up to downward facing dog. Walking, stepping, or maybe hopping the feet forwards. Coming into Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhaling, lifting up halfway. Exhale to release. And rooting down through the feet, we lift up straight away into our chair pose, sitting back, bending the knees, hands come to the heart, or maybe we reach them towards the sky. Nice, wherever we are, breathing, feeling the weight spread through all four corners of both feet. Nice, and from here, shifting our way over to our left leg, lifting the right leg just off the ground. And then lengthening, reaching a little taller, coming into a standing one-legged mountain pose. Always use the support from the wall your coffee table, your chair, your kitchen counter, wherever you are. And really pressing the left foot into the ground. So we're lifting out of the hip space rather than collapsing and sinking in, finding strength. And then from here, you might like to stay here and really just grow your balancing practice. Or we could cross the right leg over the top of the left, bend the knees, sit back a little lower, and come to your eagle legs. Option to wrap the toes around the calf or the back of the ankle. And don't panic. Don't worry if you fall. The ground is always there to catch you. Can we even find a smile here? Have we clenched the teeth in the jaw? Just release everything. It's all good. If you've been practicing for a while, you might like to reach the arms out and then cross the left arm over the right and find eagle arms. But there's no rush to arrive there. Take your time, find your practice, and find your flow. Nice, one more breath. And as you exhale, step the right leg out, back to parallel, and lengthen. Just come into a mountain pose and wiggle everything out. Take a nice inhale in through the nose, and exhale to sigh out the mouth. And then whenever you're ready, coming back, mountain pose, reaching the arms all the way up towards the sky, hands come together down at the heart, we sit back, Utkatasana. Connect to the support from the earth, really feel the spreading in the toes. And then taking our weight over towards our right leg. Just shifting it over gently. We don't have to lift the left leg all the way off yet. And then start to lengthen, standing one-legged Tadasana. This might be where you are today, and if so, awesome. Maybe you start to cross the left leg over the right, bend the knees as we sit back into our eagle legs. And if you found eagle arms on the other side, I invite you here to reach the arms out wide, this time right arm over the left, and find it there. But remember, it doesn't matter if we fall. We're in competition with nobody, especially not ourselves. All of this work that we've done throughout our practice so far to help find this space in the spine, the hips, the upper body, the feet, it's all coming together now. Finding one more breath. Exhale, lengthen and release. Mountain pose. Now everybody closing the eyes or softening the gaze. Come to check in with yourself again, noticing all of the things that are happening here, right in this moment. There's no other time but now. Perhaps your heart's beating quite fast. Maybe you've got a little warm. Perhaps you feel a tingling or prana energy surging through the body. Maybe you just feel exhausted. Whatever you feel, just feel it. One more breath. And then opening the eyes. Nice. Well done, everyone. Chin towards the chest. We'll roll down to the ground, coming into a forward fold. Hugging opposite hand to opposite elbow here. Really releasing the shoulder tension, the head and neck as we sway gently from side to side. Then planting the palms onto the earth, stepping both feet back. Option to take one final downward facing dog, or coming into a child's pose. If you're in down dog, spend 3 breaths there before coming to meet us on the earth. And really allowing yourself to rest here. You might like a generous bend in the elbows. A cushion underneath the forehead. Take what you need. Notice the part of your body where you feel your breath the most here. Send your attention to this anchor for 2 more breaths. And then everybody reaching the arms forward, staying in our child's pose as we float the arms over towards the left side of the mat. Option to float the right hand on top of the left, really breathing into the right side body now. And in your own time, make your way through center, over towards the right. And coming all the way back slowly. Press your way up. And scoot the legs to one side, making our way into a seat. Hands float behind us, feet come nice and wide on our mat as we float the right thigh out and the left thigh in. So knees come over to the right side in our windscreen wiper legs. And then taking them over to the left now. Over to the right. And over to the left. Nice. Next time you come over to the right, stay there. And lift up slightly as we twist our ribs over towards the right side. Plant the right hand down a little bit away from us. As we send our left arm, reach it out wide first, and then travel it over into a twist near to the right hand. So you can take it a little bit wider if this feels better for you. Just really make it work for you. It's just coming towards the right hand. Nice. And then opening the left arm and releasing, twisting back to where the right hand is. Nice. I'm going to do this 2 more times. So opening, finding space, and then releasing. You might like to marry this to the breath if that feels good. Inhaling to open, exhaling to close. And then everybody lifting the left hand off the ground, reaching it forwards. Finding 1 more breath here. Before making our way back to center and over to the left side with the knees. And same thing here, lifting up slightly, floating the left hand back first, and then traveling the right arm wide and coming to meet the left. Nice. Keep pressing into the palms so we aren't collapsing forwards into the shoulder space, into the chest. And then opening and releasing. 2 more times. And staying here on your final time. As we reach the right arm out in front of us, imagine you're trying to grab somebody's hand. And releasing, floating your way back to center. And keeping the feet in front, but back to parallel now as we take our hands to our hamstrings. Rocking our weight back onto our tailbone, lifting onto our toes. Now wherever we are, whichever variation we choose here, we're keeping a lovely long spine, heart space lifted, neck long. Now you might like to stay here. We could already potentially feel this wake up in our center, or we have the option to lift one leg and then the other leg. Shin comes parallel to the sky. Maybe we lift both legs. Maybe one day we lengthen both legs, but maybe that's for another day entirely. Perhaps we reach the arms out, reach them up, bring the hands to the heart. There are so many ways you can make this your own, so I really encourage you to find what feels best for you today. Nice. One more breath. As you exhale, bring the feet down and reach the arms forwards. Curling the chin towards the chest, we're going to roll the lower back slowly, then the mid back, and then the upper back onto the ground, one vertebra at a time. And when you arrive on the earth, hug the knees in, Aponasana. Nice. Rock gently side to side. And then coming back, bringing the feet together, soles of the feet together on the earth as we open the knees out wide in Supta Baddha Konasana, our reclined bound angle pose. Mindful that we're keeping the lower back on the earth, we're not arching off and putting pressure here. And taking the hands wherever you would like to. You might like to come onto the stomach out wide, or if there's a bit more space, we might like to come to cactus arms. So sending the backs of the hands to the ground, elbows soft. Wherever you are, enjoy this. Notice how your anchor, where you feel your breath, might have changed. Can we now connect to this space? Finding one more breath here. And then slowly making your own way to bring the knees back together. And then coming to your final resting posture, Shavasana. Really take up space here on your mat. Use whatever support you want to. Before finding this stillness, this calm, and releasing all of the tension away from the body. The only time we have is now. We breathe in, we breathe out. Let the tension melt away. Let us inhale a new moment and exhale an old moment of something that no longer serves us. attention to your anchor as we spend 5 more breaths here. And whenever you're ready, start to wake up the body mindfully, wiggling the fingers and the toes, rolling through the ankles and the wrists, and taking whatever movement you want to here. In your own time, rolling onto your right side. Keeping the gaze soft as you press your way up into a seat. If it resonates, floating the palms together at the heart in Anjali Mudra. Everybody bowing the head towards the heart in gratitude for this moment. I thank you so much for joining me today. Until we meet again, my friend, Namaste.